Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much for joining today's Lilamrta session. And today we are going to read our 65th chapter, that is World Tour. And the paragraph starts today with, but the most surprise. So Mataji, who would like to take reading of our Lilamrta today?
Can I start, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Praneshwari Mataji. Please, Mataji.
Yeah, since it'd be easier. Okay. But the most surprise for me, oh wait, hold on, gotta turn it around. Oh, it's, okay, gotta make it bigger.
You want it bigger, Mataji?
Yeah, can you make it a little bit bigger? If I make it bigger on my screen, it's
sure,
getting too big. Okay.
Yeah. Control. Preeti Mataji, what is the key we have to use for bigger? Do you have any idea, Mataji?
I think that's okay, Supriya, Mataji. Just move it down a little bit, yeah.
Little bit.
Is that? But I think more. I think more down, right?
What did you ask, Supriya Mataji? You asked for zooming? Yes, Mataji.
Control plus plus.
Control plus plus. Okay.
Okay, good. Let me see. Is that where you start, but not necessarily? I think more up.
Mataji, 1 minute.
Down, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, I'm going down.
Oh yeah, the Mix Mexico. Okay.
Mataji, are you able to see?
Yeah. You can go up a little more. More. So the next. Yeah, that's good. But the most surprise for me occurred when the man finally had to leave. Okay, let me go back up a little bit because I forgot. Can you go back, Mataji? Because I just forgot. I mean, to the previous paragraph because I forgot what happened before. So let's just start from here. Okay, that's good. That's it. Right there. I went to the room and I was listening to the talk. At that time, my English wasn't nice, but I could get some of the matter they were talking about. Srila Prabhupada was explaining the importance of the Vedic point of view in the educational program. He was explaining that the main point in the Vedic system was to teach that we are servant of God. I thought maybe Srila Prabhupada would be very diplomatic. He will not go directly to the point, but he was preaching very, very directly.
Yeah,
he was making.
Sorry to interrupt, but what is the chapter?
World Tour, Mataji. Last volume, last chapter. World Tour.
World.
Okay.
But he was preaching very, very directly. He was making all the points to this man. He was telling him how we teach our children from their very childhood in the Vedic standard of waking the children early in the morning, taking bath, attending Mangalarti. But the most surprise for me occurred when the man finally had to leave. He was saying, "Oh, Your Divine Grace, I am very glad I could have the opportunity to speak with you." Srila Prabhupada was talking in a very friendly way with him. The man was receptive. It was not an atmosphere of challenging. Srila Prabhupada was very nice with him. Prabhupada then told the man, "We have a lot of books. You are working with books in the government. You are giving books to the schools, so I will be very glad if you can take some of these and read, and then you will see in a more broad way all the topics we are discussing today." The man said, "Oh yes, I would like to." At that time, I was doing book distribution in as my full-time engagement. I thought, well, I don't know if Prabhupada wants to ask him for some money. I think Prabhupada is not going to ask him for money because he is a guest. I thought that Prabhupada was probably going to say, "Yes, keep the books and goodbye, Hare Krishna." I expected that. He would let the other sannyasis take care of selling any books. But I was very surprised that when the man agreed to take the books, Srila Prabhupada said, "Please give him some books." The devotees then gave some of our Spanish translation books. We only had a few books, but we immediately gave them. Then the man said, "Is there anything I have to pay for these books?" I thought Srila Prabhupada would say, "No, just keep it with you," and Hare Krishna. But Prabhupada said very gravely, "If you want to give something for the books, we will accept." Then the man took out some money, and Prabhupada made a sign indicating that he should please give it to one of the devotees. It was a surprise to me to see just how Srila Prabhupada, It was a surprise to me just to see how Srila Prabhupada didn't miss an opportunity. He was a teacher of all of us, an expert at making transcendental Sankirtana. I learned from that instant that I will never feel embarrassed in front of everyone just to ask for a donation for Srila Prabhupada's books. I felt at that time that Srila Prabhupada himself had a lot of respect for his books, not because they were his books, but because the books, as he told us, and as we could see by his practical example, the books were his whole life. Since Srila Goswami was Prabhupada's direct representative for Latin America, Prabhupada called to him frequently while in Mexico. He wanted his GBC men to understand fully the importance of the Krishna consciousness movement and to know practically how to conduct it and propagate it. He wanted them eventually to do all the managing of the institution's affairs, freeing him to translate the Bhagavatam. He had written about this responsibility in a letter to Hridayananda Goswami in 1972, shortly after awarding him sannyas. Now you must all sannyasis, GBC members, and other leaders become very serious to actually give the humankind the greatest welfare, namely the Krishna consciousness movement. Your task ahead is very huge, but will be quite simple and easy if you simply do as I am doing. You must become conversant in every feature wherever it is needed throughout society. Our first business is to preach to the devotees and to maintain the highest standard of Vaishnava education. Management must be there as well, just as I am preaching daily from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, but I am also going to the bank, making investments, seeing the trial balance, making letters, seeing how things are going on, like that. So you must become expert in all these matters, just as I am giving you example. Thank you, Mataji. I'll stop there.
Thank you so much, Paneshwari Mataji. Mataji, if anybody would like to begin our para, one evening after lecturing.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah, Dandot Pranams to all the assembled devotees. Can I read Mataji?
Hare Krishna Laltangi Mataji. Please go ahead.
One evening, after lecturing in the temple room, Prabhupada was talking in his room with Hridayananda Goswami. Sitting on Prabhupada's desk was a world globe, and Hridayananda Maharaj was showing Prabhupada the extent of his Latin American preaching field. Srila Prabhupada sat, gently spinning the globe, finally stopping it with his finger on Mexico. What do you know about this country? He asked. Hridayananda Maharaj began telling him as much as he knew about the culture, government and history of Mexico. Then Prabhupada gave the globe another spin, stopping it with his finger on Argentina, and Hridayananda Maharaj told what he knew about the people and life of Argentina. Now we will give you some information about India, Srila Prabhupada, said Prabhupada, smiling. And he named India's exports, the provinces from which they came. He spoke of the relationship between ancient India and South America, of Lord Ramachandra, who millions of years ago had gone to Brazil. From Sri Lanka to Brazil had been a tunnel, and all the gold of Ravana's kingdom had come through that tunnel from Brazil. Hridayananda Maharaj was thrilled that Srila Prabhupada was including him in such an intimate, friendly talk, and they continued exchanging information while pointing to the places on the globe. One day, Hridayananda Maharaj came into Prabhupada's room looking unhappy. What is the difficulty? Prabhupada asked him. Hridayananda Maharaj took pride in never complaining to Prabhupada or bringing him bad news and disturbing him. But having almost reached his breaking point, he confessed, Prabhupada, it's impossible here. They are always stealing. Prabhupada consoled him. Yes, in one of our Indian centers also, they have stolen a rug. What can I do? Prabhupada said, as if sharing his disciples' helplessness. But then he said, actually my father had a friend who owned a factory. He would pay the factory workers a small wage. Once someone complained, why do you underpay your workers? Then he said, no, I pay them so much and they steal so much. It comes out to the proper amount. Prabhupada began to laugh. My father told me that if you have a servant and he does not steal from you, then he is not bona fide. He is not a bona fide servant. Hridayanand Maharaj laughed along with Prabhupada and his unhappiness vanished. Once, Prabhupada sent a message for Hridayanand Maharaj to come immediately. When Hridayananda ran into Prabhupada's room and offered obeisances, he found Prabhupada sitting in a leisurely position reading the Krishna book. Prabhupada looked up with great happiness and asked, "Have you read these books?" Prabhupada was enjoying his own book, not because he had written the book, but because the book was Krishna. "Have you read these books?" Prabhupada repeated. "Yes, Prabhupada, a little." "Aren't they wonderful?" asked Prabhupada. "Especially Chaitanya Charitamrita. They are so wonderful." Having said this, Prabhupada returned his attention to the Krishna book, reading silently to himself. After sitting for a few minutes, Hridayanand Maharaj gratefully left the room, desiring to follow Prabhupada's example. One evening, when several professors came to visit Srila Prabhupada, one of them asked, "Why does anything exist?" Srila Prabhupada replied that the purpose of existence is ananda, pleasure. At first the professor resisted. He was seeking an answer referring to a higher plane. But Srila Prabhupada insisted that ananda exists on the higher plane. "When we have got this body changing," he said, "there is no ananda because we are sometimes diseased. And then we have to become an old man. But we are eternal, so we are seeking after something which is eternal, ananda. That is the purpose of life." Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. I'll stop here.
Thank you so much, Laltangi Mataji. Mataji, if anybody would like to start from next para. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Avinandana Mataji, right?
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
In his Bhagavad Gita lecture, Srila Prabhupada was methodically proceeding through the second chapter, now discussing the distinction between the eternal soul and the temporary body. Sometimes he lectured both morning and evening. When beginning his explanation of the 14th verse, he said, "So, from last night's discussion, it is to be concluded that we are not going to die. But in preparation for the next life," Prabhupada explained, "we have to tolerate material pains and pleasures. Sometimes the rules and regulations are there. They may be painful, but we cannot give them up. We have to learn how to tolerate." Prabhupada quoted a Bengali proverb that said, "Anything you practice with your body, you can learn to tolerate." So, if by practicing Krishna consciousness, you can go back to home, back to Godhead, why should you neglect? That will solve all your problems. After the lecture, someone asked, "What are the characteristics of a person who has realized that he is not this body?" "He is engaged in Krishna consciousness," Srila Prabhupada replied. "He does not know anything but Krishna. That is normal condition." One evening, after an unusual number of impertinent questions, Hridayananda Maharaj stopped translating and instructed the crowd not to ask nonsensical questions. Immediately one of the ladies raised her hand. "I have heard from the devotees," she began, "that at the time of leaving my body, it will be a very important test for my life for getting my next body. I have also heard from the devotees that it is important for us to think of Lord Krishna at the time of passing away of our body. What I want to ask your divine grace is it as good as thinking of Krishna at the time of my death to think of you?" Hridayananda Maharaj presented her question to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada smiled. "Yes, this is very good. You will get the same result." In the morning, for his breakfast, Prabhupada ate lightly of fruits and cashews. He especially liked a local fruit known as guavana, and he drank guavana juice every day. At noon, he also ate lightly, avoiding the samosas and the pakoras and eating mostly dal, rice, chapatis and the sabji. The Mexican devotees would wait eagerly outside Prabhupada's door to take the remnants from his plate. They were particularly eager for a bite of anything Prabhupada had tasted. Krishti Mohana, One morning, Shutakriti gave me the plate, remnants of Prabhupada. It contained milk, oranges already sucked, and skins of chickpeas. There was also ginger. At that time, there was a Srimad Bhagavatam class going on. But when the devotees saw me with the plate, some of them left the class and ran toward me. They started to take pieces of orange and ginger. One devotee got pushed and fell down. That disturbed the class, and the devotee giving the class was very upset. Some of the devotees kept sitting, but some of them, when they saw the remnants, left the place and ran upstairs and started to fight also. Then Srila Prabhupada opened his door because of the noise, and he saw everything. He smiled and went to his room again. Mataji, I will stop here. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Abhinandana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Shall I read, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Anjana Mataji. Please, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay. Most of the Mexican devotees got little direct association with Srila Prabhupada because they could not understand English and because they had other services to render. They were never demanding since they knew Srila Prabhupada was busy translating and working to save all the fallen souls around the world. Moreover, Prabhupada was very great personality, and his disciples did not think themselves worthy to push forward and demand this special attention. Nevertheless, sometimes the devotees who took turn keeping guard outside Prabhupada's room would have a special encounter with him. Nanda Prana, one of the devotees was a bodyguard when he was a Karmi, taking care of important people in the government. So he was already involved in these things. Mostly in the night time, there were some of the Mataji, can you go a little bit up, Mataji? There were some of us who were just taking was there. There was 3 or 4 hours outside of his room, taking care of him. We were thinking that maybe some dangerous man or some crazy man is coming and they would want to make something with Srila Prabhupada. We wanted to put Srila Prabhupada very secure. Every night I was doing the schedule from 9 at night until 2. At that time, I was supposed to go and always up the next guard. Ritu. I was talking taking care of Prabhupada's sleep security. I used to stand around during the night, so it was midnight and I was chanting, and this devotee, Jagannath Mishra, told me that I should not chant so loud because it bothered Srila Prabhupada. I said no, Prabhupada doesn't mind if we chant loud. I kept on chanting loudly, and when I saw Prabhupada open the curtains in his room, he was standing there very humbly, not angry, but smiling. He made a motion to me, meaning please do not chant so loudly. Then he folded his palms and was smiling. Kissy Mohana, I was like a helper. If the servants needed something, we were right there to get it. We would rest taking care of the door day and night. Once they had a problem with Prabhupada's tape recorder. At that time, Prabhupada had to stop translating. So Ridananda Maharaj called me and told me that he heard that I knew how to fix tape recorders and electricity. I went into Prabhupada's room. Prabhupada was reading the Chaitanya Lilamrta. He was moving his toe. There was a tulsi there on his desk. By using his hand, Prabhupada was showing me that the tape recorder did not work. He wanted to be busy with his service. When I looked at it, the only thing wrong was that the plug wasn't very well plugged in. I fixed it and put the tape on, and then Prabhupada's voice started to come out. Then he said, everything is alright, thank you, Hare Krishna. Then he asked me some questions through Hridayananda Maharaj translation. He asked, "Are the cows here in Mexico?" He asked, "Are there cows here in Mexico? Do you kill them and eat them?" Also, he asked, "What is the coin in Mexico?" When he asked about the cows, I answered that when explaining that everywhere they have cows, when explaining that...
Mataji, you missed one line, Mataji.
Okay, yeah, okay.
He asked about the coin.
Oh, yeah. Do you kill them? Yeah. Answer when... one second, Mataji, I really missed. I eat them. And then he asked, what is the coin in Mexico? When he asked about the cows, I answered that, and when he asked about the coin, I said it is a peso. When Prabhupada heard about the cows, he shook his head. Then he was explaining that everywhere they have cows and they kill them off and eat them, and that's why civilization is as it is now in crisis. Now society is paying reactions, and they are going to pay more reactions because of that. Then he told me, now you can leave. I had to leave because my service was to take care of the door, and Prabhupada had other services. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Anjana Gopika Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can read.
Hare Krishna, Renuka Mataji. Please, Mataji.
Munipriya, I was a guard at the door after 2 in the morning. Prabhupada came out in a gamcha. I said, Jaya Prabhupada, Haribo. I wanted to get down and offer him my obeisances. Prabhupada said, no, just chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. Tonio Fernandez. I was in charge of the microphone. One time I was adjusting it right in front of Prabhupada, and he saw me and smiled. I felt very happy. I had no time to dance with the other devotees because I was in charge of the sound system. One day I put aside the sound and started dancing. Prabhupada saw me, and I felt that he was thinking, you must go back to your sound. And so I went back because that was my service. We were very anxious to serve Srila Prabhupada because he so rarely came to Therefore, whatever he wanted.
Renuka Mataji, sorry to disturb you. Can you be a little bit louder, Mataji?
Yes. Hridayananda Maharaja, we were very anxious to serve Srila Prabhupada nicely because he so very rarely ever came to Latin America. Therefore, whatever he wanted, whenever he said, why don't you bring this? We would have 3 or 4 devotees standing by like 5 men, and they would practically slide down the banister and jump into 2 or 3 different cars and tear out of the driveway on 2 wheels with tires screeching. They would have a race to see who could bring it back first. Usually within 10 or 15 minutes they would have it, whatever Prabhupada wanted. One time I bought Prabhupada his breakfast plate, and he said, are not there any cashew nuts? I immediately ran out to the banister and shouted, cashew nuts! Immediately they started jumping down the stairs, and cars were screeching out of the driveway. While Prabhupada was still eating his breakfast, we brought in the nuts. Then he said, no, never mind, I don't need them. The last Bhagavad Gita class Prabhupada gave in Mexico was on the 10th verse, chapter. If you come in the small life, Prabhupada said, say 50 or 60 or 100 years at most, but you neglect your eternal existence. Is that intelligence? We are teaching that science, and the Bhagavad Gita is there. Take advantage of it. As always, there were questions. Hridayananda Maharaja, to become consciousness, he wants to know if you believe in God. The absurdity of this question made the devotees laugh. Prabhupada, what is that? Hridayananda Maharaja, he wants to know if you believe in God. Prabhupada, I don't believe in God. You believe in God? Why I will not believe? If you can believe, I can believe also. It is not believing though, it is fact. We are explaining fact. How the existence of God is there? There is no question of believing or not believing. The fact is fact. Hridayananda Maharaja, when we offer some you, for example, to your picture, he wants to know if spiritually, simply by the act of offering, do we become purified, or is the spiritual master actually aware of the offering? Prabhupada. Yes, the spiritual master is the representative of God. Whatever you offer to the spiritual master, it goes to God. Hridayananda Maharaj, his point is the spiritual master actually conscious of our activities? Prabhupada, the spiritual master may not be conscious. God is conscious, and through God he is also conscious. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Nilita Mataji. So, Mataji, if anybody would like to start from next para, February 17, 1975.
Can I read, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Mataji, Vinita Mataji, we are not able to hear you. Can you be a little louder?
Can you hear you?
No, Mataji, not yet.
You cannot hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you, Mataji.
Okay. Okay, Mataji. After 7 full days in Mexico City, Prabhupada was ready to leave for Karas. Everyone gathered in the temple to hear his last talk. As usual, Udayananda Maharaj sitting at the
Mataji, it's going in and out.
Okay, Mataji, somebody can read. I will join from the computer.
Okay.
Okay, Mataji, if anybody would like to start again from February 17, 1975. Okay, then I can go ahead, Mataji. February 17, 1975. After 7 full days in Mexico City, Prabhupada was ready to leave Caracas. Everyone gathered in the temple to hear his last talk. As usual, Hridayananda Maharaj, sitting at the feet of Prabhupada's Vyasasana, translated his talk. We have left our home and our father. Prabhupada began, and we are in this fallen material world and we are suffering too much. It is exactly like a very rich man's son who leaves home for independence and wanders all over the world unnecessarily taking trouble. A rich man's son has nothing to do. His father's property is sufficient for his comfortable life. Still, as we have got examples now in the Western countries, many rich men's sons become hippies, leave home and unnecessarily take trouble. Our position as living entities within this material world is exactly like that. We have voluntarily come into this material world for sense enjoyment. And in the sense enjoyment, we have forgotten our Supreme Father, God. The material nature's duty is to give us simply miserable condition of life. Krishna buliya jiva bhoga vancha kare pashyate mayatare japatiya dhare means as soon as the living entities wants to enjoy life without Krishna, without God, immediately he becomes under the clutches of Maya. So this is our position. We are under the control of Maya and we can get out of it also. As it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam eva prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Anyone who surrenders unto me, he gets out of the control of Maya. We are therefore preaching all over the world Krishna consciousness or God consciousness and teaching the people how to surrender to Krishna and thus get out of the clutches of Maya. We have no other desire or ambition besides this. We plainly say, here is God. You surrender unto him. You always think of him, offer your obeisances, then your life will be successful. But the people in general, they are exactly like madmen, simply for sense gratification. They are working so hard day and night. So devotees are very sorry to see their plight. Prahlad Maharaj said that I am very sorry for these persons. Who are they? Soche tato vimukha etasa indriyartha maya sukhaya Bharam Udvato Vimudhan. These rascals, Vimudhan, they have created a civilization, gorgeous civilization. What is that? Just like in our country, a gorgeous truck for sweeping. The business is sweeping, and for that they have manufactured a gorgeous truck. The sweeping can be done by hand. There are so many men but they are loitering in the street and a huge truck is required for sweeping. It is creating huge sound and it is very dangerous also. But they are thinking this is advancement of civilization. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj said, Maya Sukhaya, just to get relief from sweeping, but there is no relief. They have got other troubles, but they are thinking, now we haven't go to sweep. It is a great relief. Similarly, a simple razor can be used for shaving, but they have got so many machines. And to manufacture the machines, so many factories. So in this way, if we study item by item, this kind of civilization is called demonic civilization, Ugra Karma. Ugra Karma means ferocious activities. So there is no objection for material comforts, but actually you have to see whether they are comforts or miserable conditions. Therefore, our human form of life is meant for saving time to develop our Krishna consciousness. It is not meant for wasting unnecessarily, because we do not know when the next death is coming. Mataji, I would like to stop here and I would like to give chance to others who did not get chance of reading Mataji. Thank you so
Mataji,
much.
I came back, Mataji.
Yeah,
Can I
please
read
go ahead,
Mataji?
Mataji. Yes, Mataji, please go.
And if we do not prepare ourselves for the next life, because at any moment we can die, then we have to accept a body offered by a material nature. Therefore, I wish that all of you who have come to join this Krishna conscious movement live very carefully, so that Maya may not snatch you from the hand of Krishna. We have to keep ourselves very steady simply by following the regulatory principles and chanting minimum 16 rounds. Then we are safe. So you have got some information about the perfection of life. Don't misuse it. Try to keep it very steady, and your life will be successful. So if we follow the regulatory principles and chant 16 rounds, then our life will be perfect. I think this instruction you will follow. This is my desire. Thank you very much. Yeah, Mataji, what is this name, Mataji?
Tonio Fernandez.
Tonio Fernandez. The last time Prabhupada spoke was in the morning. He said, I wish all of you will go back to Krishna. I remember those words very nicely because I understand that all the desire of a pure devotee are fulfilled. So I think his desire must be fulfilled. But when Prabhupada left, I personally felt alone because I was particularly with him only for 8 days. It was different style of life. Nandaprana, when Prabhupada was leaving the house, he was coming down the stairs and they helped this one boy, Govinda Dasa, who was 4-year-old, to make a garland. He was waiting for Prabhupada downstairs. When Prabhupada came down, this boy was going to put the garland, but he was too little and could not reach Prabhupada's head. So Hridayananda took the child and lifted up him so that Govinda Dasa was going to put the garland on Prabhupada's head. But before he could put it, Prabhupada took his hands and made the boy to put the garland on himself. I would like to stop here, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vinita Mataji. Mataji, if anybody would like to continue from next para.
Hare Krishna, can I read?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Can you tell me what paragraph is that?
Mataji, it is Robert Ruiz. I think Z is silent, Mataji. Roberto Ruiz.
Roberto Ruiz. After coming from Chapultepec Park, the chanting his rounds, then Srila Prabhupada went away. It was wonderful because all the devotees went out. When the car was leaving the temple, it looked like a rug, like a carpet. All the devotees were offering obeisances. It was ecstatic. They were waiting for Prabhupada to come again, but it wasn't possible. Tonio Fernandez. When we start talking about Prabhupada's visit to Mexico, we remember a lot of things. And when we start talking, we can go on talking and we can remember a lot of things. Talking about Srila Prabhupada is very hard because really we can't know him in 8 days. The 8 days passed so quickly, like a minute. It was the best thing that happened in our life, to meet with Srila Prabhupada and his devotees. The whole mercy was given to me also because I stayed closely. The devotees were struggling always to see Prabhupada, the Matajis and the Brahmacharis, but I also stayed with him. When Prabhupada left, all of us stood at the gates looking at the car. And the atmosphere was very sad. I can't tell by words, but only feel it. It was feeling of separation. When one serves a spiritual master, one serves Krishna. It was the most sad farewell for me. Caracas, February 18, 1975. It was late at night. For years the devotees had been hoping Prabhupada would visit. Every year they heard he was coming, but every year he didn't. But now he had come. In the temple, conch shells sounded and the kirtan was uproarious. Because of the government restrictions, the devotees had not publicized Prabhupada's arrival, which didn't seem to matter since the temple was more crowded than ever before. With dozens of guests, a reporter and a television news crew with bright floodlights and cameras. The leading book distributor in the temple washed Prabhupada's feet as Prabhupada sat on a raised Vyasa asana overlooking 100 persons. The devotees, many of them from other countries in South America, and the guests, friends, speakers, and the curious, filled every inch of the floor space. As Srila Prabhupada sat, he beheld the two golden forms of the Gaura Nitai deities. He made obeisances to them when he first entered the room, and now he spoke of their mercy. You are very fortunate, he said. These two Prabhus, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, are present with us tonight. There is a song you can follow, and he began to sing. Parama Karuna Pahu Duijana Nitai Gora Chandra. No instruments or voices accompanied his singing, which carried through the still room. Everyone sat in hushed silence, fixed on him as he sang alone. Sabhavetara Sara Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kandha. Now that Prabhupada was in Caracas, seeing so many devotees and seeing Gaur Nitai presiding from their simple altar, he was most impressed and moved by the mercy of Gaur Nitai. These two lords, he sang, were the essence of all incarnations and the most merciful. In this particular incarnation, the Lord said he would go everywhere to distribute his love. And here was the proof. They had come so far from the original place in Nadia in Bengal. Prabhupada himself was traveling far. Even on this day, he had already traveled hundreds of miles, and yet the two Prabhus were already here waiting, with arms upraised, shining effulgently. They had come to this distant place, Venezuela, and Prabhupada was deeply touched at how they had extended their mercy to the whole world. Tears glided down his cheeks, and his voice broke. The devotees became wonderstruck, appreciating Prabhupada's vision of the two deities on the altar. Prabhupada wasn't thinking that he was in South America with some Spanish-speaking people, but he was seeing his beloved Lord, the feeling of how they were delivering love of God to the fallen souls. Seeing Prabhupada's tears and hearing his choked voice, the people themselves became thrilled to behold genuine, transcendental ecstasy. It was like the ecstasy of Akrura on his way to Vrindavan. Akrura had been thinking of Krishna the whole time he was traveling, but when he arrived in Vrindavan and saw the actual imprints of Krishna's feet in the dust, he suddenly became mad in ecstasy and fell to the ground crying, "How wonderful!" Similarly, Srila Prabhupada was always living within the mercy of Gaur Nitai and their mission, but suddenly seeing them with arms upraised in this particular place where they were encouraging the people of South America to take us to this simple, joyful process, a process which does not even require knowledge or understanding, but simply to chant Krishna's holy name. Seeing this mercy, Prabhupada himself was far more impressed than anyone by the mercy of these two Prabhus. Hare Krishna, or I can read one more. Although the deity, the temple, and the devotees had only become manifest through Prabhupada's teaching, the fact that they were all here, flourishing before he had ever come, moved him to a visible ecstasy of love as the servant of Lord. He was awed by the potency of Gaur Mataji. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jyoti Mataji. Mataji, if anybody would like to continue our reading from the Caracal temple. So Mataji, who did not get a chance, if they would like to read from this para, or else we would like to stop our reading up to this above para, Mataji, and we will continue from our next Friday, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, we can take realizations.
Yeah. I'm just noting it down, Mataji. One moment. Okay, Mataji. So we will stop our reading for today's session up to here, Mataji, and we will continue next paragraph from next week, Mataji. So again, thank you to all the Matajis who joined our Lilamrta reading: Jyoti Mataji, Preeti Mataji, Avinandana Mataji, Mamata Mataji. Then I see 313502 Mataji. I don't know the number, sorry for that. Then again, Nayak Gita Ben Mataji, Vasavi Mataji, then Anjana, Janvi, Anjana Gopika Mataji, Paneshwari Mataji, Renuka Mataji, then Vinita Mataji, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, and I think Sujata Mataji. So thank you so much, Mataji, for joining today's Lilamrta, and we can open our session for our realizations, Matajis. So I would request all the Matajis, can we start sharing one by one our realizations?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. All glories to Prabhupada. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Praneshwari Mataji.
Thank you for a wonderful, wonderful session again, as usual. I was just admiring Srila Prabhupada's managerial skills, if you want to say. First of all, when he was explaining how he wanted, in the beginning he was talking about how he wanted his disciples to not only be conversant in the Krishna conscious philosophy, but he was also saying, but you have to know how to do everything, you know. Basically the basic necessities of everyday life, you know, balancing your checkbook and all those other things that you need to do. I mean, that's a lesson not only for the devotees in the temple, but you know, sometimes we as householders think, at least I do, there's going to be a time when I'm just going to do nothing but chant and you know, sit in a room and do my devotional service and that's it. But that's not reality, right? So we have to know how to balance those things properly. And the other point that I was thinking about was when Srila Prabhupada was talking about the servant stealing.
Yes, Mataji, yeah, stealing.
He's just kind of very understanding, I don't want to say understanding, but practical about, I don't know, and maybe just realistic. You know, he just accepts it, and he doesn't get all flustered by little things. In a sense, maybe inconsequential things, little things. You know, things are going to happen. Those kind of things happen. But the most important thing is Krishna consciousness. I mean, you know, is this preaching, and I really like that you know, he's not oblivious to what's going on, and he's not just in, you know, in some kind of so, you know, he understands reality. He understands what the world is like now. It's not just spiritual, not just focusing on spiritual, but being practical, I felt. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, true, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Those 2 points also I was thinking, Mataji. The same thing what you are previously telling about the managing everything, not only our spiritual life, balancing our material life also, like doing all the things like checking the bank accounts, keeping up to date, and doing other routine things. Yeah, sometimes as myself, I feel like I I'm just doing my spiritual sadhana and not keeping myself updated with the minimum knowledge how we have to do other things, Mataji, like minimum basics of computer knowledge, how to upgrade ourselves, then going to banks, then dealing with people regarding the money management. These are like how Prabhupada is telling, he's telling exactly like banking, making investments, seeing the trial balance, making letters, seeing how they are going on. So he's telling not only that we have to be all round experts in all these matters. We should not be confined to only some particular spiritual things. Also we have to keep update on the outgoing wall regarding only basic things, Mataji, not up to all the things, Mataji. That is true, Mataji, what you said. And stealing also, it is like yeah, how he is giving importance to the minimum things and just escaping the things and focusing on the bigger things. Thank you so much, Paneshwari Mataji, for sharing those two things. Those are very beautiful. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lilamrta Mataji.
Yeah, so there are 3 points I think that really stood out to me. Like as Paneshwari Mataji said, that stealing part, and it's not that the Prabhupada wasn't concerned about the money, because I heard in following Srila Prabhupada one of the story when one of the devotee, he spent I think 1 rupee extra on a medical. And Srila Prabhupada was like whole day going behind him and saying, how could you pay that money extra? They cheated you, and he was whole day for that 1 rupee or 50 paisa, I don't remember. And here, stealing is happening. I'm sure that was much more worse when Prabhupada took it so lightly, to keep to keep Hridayananda Maharaj in the right consciousness and take it so lightly. It's a very nice parenting tip also, children show us so many concerns about light things. And sometimes we fall along with them and then we also start getting concerned. But Prabhupada is so lightly taking that thing, stealing is no big deal. And then he is using the word bona fide. I personally always heard of bona fide spiritual master saying bona fide servant. That was very hilarious. And then, and then there was one more, then Srila, then one lady who asked, instead of thinking, Krishna, can we think of you? This is there in even following Srila Prabhupada also. One of the Prabhuji was talking about this Mataji who asked this question, the same here. And then Srila Prabhupada thought for a while. In the video, it's mentioned that he thought for a while and then he came back and with a smile, he said, yes, that's very nice. And that's really nice. Thinking of Krishna is more difficult than Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada in the videos and in the books, we can think and see him still. So it is easier to, at least I feel that way, that it is easy to connect Srila Prabhupada than to Krishna at a time. So Prabhupada gave the permission that at the time of death we can think of him and we will get the same benefit of thinking of Krishna. So that's a relief. And then the last point that I liked is like spiritual master may not be conscious, but God is conscious, and through God he is also conscious. That's a very nice point, because so many times when we are offering, I'm offering anything in front of Guru Maharaj and I think, okay, is he seeing the water that I am keeping? Is he seeing that I am offering? But Prabhupada say he may or may not be, but Krishna is definitely, and we all know that Krishna is, he is all knower, so he definitely know. And because Guru is always conscious of Krishna, so he is conscious of what Krishna is conscious of. So that way Krishna is conscious, Guru is finally conscious of the offering or the prayers or whatever we are sharing with him. So yes, Mataji, those are my realizations.
Mataji, you explained so beautifully the concept of Guru and the consciousness of Guru and how he keeps watching, vigilant every time what his disciples and devotees are doing, Mataji. So nice, Mataji explained it very nicely. Thank you so much, Avinandana Mataji, for your beautiful explanation. And the point you're also telling about bona fide servant, that is also very nice. Funny, Mataji, how Prabhupada is telling. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Mataji is Laltangi Mataji, Preeti Mataji, then we have Mamta Mataji. We also have Shama Gauri Mataji, I think so, with Mamta Mataji. Then we have Anjana Gopika Mataji, Vinita Mataji, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Renuka Mataji, Jyoti Mataji. Sorry, I missed anybody's name. Swasti Mataji.
Mataji, can I share something on a lighter note?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Actually, when I got my initiated name as Sagari, my Prabhu, when you were reading Maya Sukhaya, the Naivod Vijay Paramvars, so my Prabhu immediately asked, like, what Sukha is it, like Maya Sukhaya. So, and then he actually recited this verse and told this is what is there. So, from that time, when I listen to this Maya Sukhaya, I just remember that much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sukhsakari Mataji. Thank you so much.
Mataji, I missed that. Can you explain what you? I didn't hear what you said.
When I got my initiated name as Sukhasagari, so my husband, he immediately asked, so what kind of Sukha are you? Is it Maya Sukhaya? And he quoted this verse actually. So from that time I'm trying hard to memorize, but I'm not getting down to memorizing the verse. But I remember that.
Very funny, very nice.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Mataji.
I wanted to share one other thing. I don't know if anybody else.
Yes, Mataji, please.
I was just remembering when Srila Prabhupada said, when somebody asked him about, do you believe in God? And Srila Prabhupada says, no, I don't believe in God. God just is. So I thought that was a brilliant answer. Because, when Prabhupada says that it's not a matter of faith, it's not faith that with him, because your faith can change from one point to another point, but your dharma, your eternal intrinsic nature can't change. So it just reminded me of that, because he was saying, maybe you believe, I believe, we may believe, but that's not it's not belief. It's that God is, that's just the truth. I thought that was a brilliant answer. Brilliant answer.
True.
Hi, Mataji. So, couple of things that I really like. This one is, I think you already.
Mataji.
Yeah, you guys already discussed about this guru, the point of guru, which was very nicely clarified by Prabhupada. Very nicely said that whether the guru knows or not, Krishna. So even the guru also, when he sees you, he knows about you through Krishna, because it is Krishna who inspires him to know. So it's not like the mystic yogi, where the mystic yogi is thinking that he has mastered a particular mystic art through which he is knowing what is running in your life or what is running in your mind. But here, Vaishnava Guru is always very surrendered to Krishna. So Krishna gives him the inspiration to know something, and that is what he expresses. So that is what I felt when I heard this, and I just wanted to share that. And the other point is, I really liked about the thing of Mahiravana, his kingdom in Brazil, for gold tunnel, the way
Mataji.
That it definitely made those people there be very happy in one sense, when they could hear all this glory about their own country.
I was also thinking about that whole idea of the gold. It makes sense if you think about history, because the whole reason why Hernan Cortez went to Mexico was for the gold. He basically went there to steal the gold to bring it back to the King of Spain. So it's really amazing when you think about what Srila Prabhupada says. It makes total sense too.
Yes, Mataji, very, very.
Okay, Mataji. So should we end the call? Are you there? Supriya Mataji? Shama Supriya? Okay, is there anyone else who would like to share?
It says there's 14 people, but nobody else is talking.
Mataji, can you hear me, Mataji?
Mataji?
Now we can.
Yeah, now we can hear you. Please take over, Mataji.
Mataji, one moment, Mataji. I'm logging again. My computer got disconnected. I'm logging again. One moment, Mataji. I'm logging.
Welcome. This service is provided.
That's okay if there is no share screen. We already read, right?
Vinita, share your realization, please.
Mataji, I joined today very late. I was sleeping. Yeah, Mataji, whatever I read, I want to share. So Prabhupada was saying that, we should, are you believing on God? Some devotee was asking. So then he said, no, I think so. I think Prabhupada saying, he was asking Prabhupada back that, are you believing in the God? Yes. Do you know that God is there or not? Some conversation was going on. Then he said, it's not believing, it's not believing, it's a truth. So always Prabhupada talks about Dharma, right? Dharma means religion. It's not faith actually. It is rules and regulation created by Krishna. So it's truth and we should believe on it. So again, what I really like this, like Prabhupada mainly stressing about the 4 regulative principles, chanting Hare Krishna, is that enough for a devotee to go back to Godhead? If a pure devotee desires that we should go back to Godhead, like our Guru Maharajas are desiring blessing us to go back to Godhead, means there is no chance that we will fall down. We will definitely go back to Godhead, because it's not our greatness, it's our Guru Varga's greatness, that they are giving their mercy. They are so pure, so when they desire for us, we will definitely go back to Godhead. So our main goal should be there to please our gurus and serve them. If we get their blessings, we are done. Our main aim of the life is we got that. That I really like. In the beginning, I was reading that when you all are sharing, that I really like when Prabhupada was talking to one of the book selling person. And he was showing the books, can you sell these books? Then he said, I will do it. And finally he said, no, I cannot do it, or something like that. So then he asked, do you want to buy any book for you? Then he said, yes, I will buy. So some of the Spanish books he gave, and then that person asked Prabhupada, do I need to pay anything? All the devotees were expecting that Prabhupada says, no need, take it for you. But Prabhupada very, very nicely, very dearly he asked that, can you pay anything? Then he paid it. So there we can understand that it is how much Prabhupada is giving importance for the book selling, and it's not about money, it's about the book value of the book. They were stressing on the value of the book. Those are not ordinary books. We should not be any shy to ask money for our book distribution. So here Prabhupada himself teaching as a teacher to everybody how to deal, how to sell a book like that. Yeah, I really like those points, Mataji. That much only I could remember, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada is sharing a bhajan. I want to like to share with all of you with your permission, Preeti Vilasini Gopi. And that bhajan is Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Parama Karuna Pahudu Vijana Nitai Gaura Chandra Parama Karuna Pahudu Hijana Nitai Gaura Chandra Sabhavatara Sarasido
स्वभावतार सरसिरुमानी
provided by
केवल आनंद कंद
participants in the
भज
conference.
भजो भाई चैतन्य निताई सुधित्या विश्वास करी विषय चढ़िया सेरसे मजिया मुखे बोलो हरि हरि भज भजो भाई चैतन्य निताई सुधीर्या विश्वास करी देखो भाई तरी भुवने नाई आमिया दुखिया दाता पशु पंखी जूरे पाशिया नविद्रे सुनी जन गण गाथा पशु पंखी जूरे पाशिया नविद्रे सुनी जन रगय गाथा सामसारे माजिया रोहिलो परोया से पदे नाहिलो आसा अपना कर्मा बुझे ये समाना कियो लोकनाथ दास परम करुणा पहुदुहि जन निताय गौरचंद्र हरि हरि बोल। श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hari Bol, Vrindakopika Mataji. So beautiful, Mataji. Thanks for singing the beautiful bhajan.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I just, when Mataji shared the song, I just remembered that part also, how Prabhupada was sharing from this Gaur Nitai came from travels from so far, and they came here to deliver the fallen soul, and that was very emotional part, and Prabhupada was almost crying. His tears came, and then he was very emotional, and then how Prabhupada is so merciful, Mataji. I think I remember maybe in Atlanta his name also he sang the same bhajan, I think. And go they mention, Prabhupada first when he came there and danced, he sang same. And then he was very emotional, Mataji. It was really emotional.
Oh, in Atlanta, Mataji?
No, Atlanta also he sang. I heard same bhajan he sang there. When
Okay. Thank you, Anjana Gopika Mataji, for sharing those. Thank you so much. So, Mataji, I would like to just add 2 points from my for our today's reading, realizations, Mataji. Mostly all the Matajis shared. So, while Prabhupada is asking about the Mexico, about the cows, about the currency there, he is telling are cows available and they are going to be killed here also and eat them, and what is the currency of the Mexico. And at that point, Prabhupada is telling, so here you are also killing and eating the cows, and that is why you are not developing, and you are again having this kind of sufferings. You are having the you are not still in progress because of you are doing all this kind of demonic activities. So I just related this with our present day situation, how we are all suffering with all the world. All is facing critical condition of coronavirus, Mataji, because of these natural things, disturbances to our regular way of living society in a peaceful way. So we are seeing that also, and again coming to other point where Prabhupada is telling how we are using our knowledge, higher knowledge for creating big factories, big machines. He is telling example of a sweeping machine. How gorgeously in India they have created a sweeping machine just to sweep, and he is telling how people are relaxing that they are getting done with the sweeping machine. And he is telling there are so many people who can get this work done, but for the small task we are creating this. And this he is telling this is called as Ugra Karma. And he is also giving another example of like the blade, how we are using for the shaving, and for this simple blade we can get that work done. And we are creating big machines and different kinds and different styles for this small task. How we are wasting our human life in creating all these unnecessary wanted things and making our life more miserable. And instead of this, he is telling to use our how many years we live for 60, 70 or 100 years we have to spend in reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and utilizing our human form of life and getting connected to ultimate God, Mataji. So these are the 2 points I would like to share, Mataji, and most of the points all the Matajis shared. And regarding the Brazil also, Mataji shared, and from that also I have reminded of the previous readings where I read or heard, and how in California the 5 Pandavas are leading there, or some kind of Dandakaranya there. Some is related to Mahabharata, our California, and we can see our Russia also. So once it is called Rishyasringa, and how we, in the meanwhile, in the course of time, how it became like Russia, and so many places of rishis are going there and meditating. So we have seen in this all whole world is like Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It is one, and we are all in the Krishna conscious in the olden days in our early lives, Mataji. So these are the realizations, Mataji, from today's reading. And Mataji, if anybody would like to add some more realizations to our readings of today's? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. The translation of Prabhupada Vaishnava song Parama Karuna is to Lord Nitai Gaurachandra, very merciful. They are the essence of all incarnation. The specific significance of this incarnation is that this introduced to process of chanting and dancing, that is the simply joyful. Second stanza, my dear brother, I request that you just worship Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda with firm convictions and faith. If one wants to be a Krishna conscious by this process, one has to give up his engagement in the sense gratification. One simply has to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Hare without any motive. Third, my dear brother, just try and explain this. Within the 3 words, there is no one like Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda. Their merciful qualities are so great that upon hearing them, even birds and beasts cry and stones melt. Fourth, but Lochan Das regret that I am entrapped by sense gratification, since I have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. The Yamaraja, the superintendent of death, is punished me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnava.
Vrinda Gopika Mataji, we are so grateful to you, Mataji. You have taken the translation and you have translated and given us the nectar of the song, Mataji. So grateful to you, Mataji, for your taking patiently and reading to us. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Mataji, please come for the bhajan session and the Mataji, that is also there. I don't know if you're aware of it. So,
where, Mataji?
Lilamrta, before starting Lilamrta, Mataji, like
yes.
9:45, Mataji, we sing a bhajan, Mataji.
Mataji, Koti Dandavat Pranam. Basically, I study in Gujarati medium, so English is very challenging for me. But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, I understand so nicely. But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, all Vaishnavi, now I am able to read also.
Mataji, but you should be on our call, Mataji. It will be very pleasing to all of us if you are on the call, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, I will be next Friday. Usually Friday, Saturday I am working. That's why I'm not able to come, Srila Prabhupada Amruta. Whenever I am not working, I will become right time.
Yeah, we will message you, Mataji, and just give your association, Mataji. That is only sweet, Mataji.
We need your blessing and your all Vaishnavis association.
All Vaishnavis blessing, Mataji. Yeah. Please be on the call, Mataji, whenever you are available, Mataji. I will message you, Mataji, the timings also. Thank you so much, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, for patiently giving us the translation of the song and making us more dear to our heart, Mataji. Thank you so much. So, Matajis, if we are done with your realizations, Mataji, then we will end our call today's Mataji. So, I would like to pay my obeisances to all the Matajis, and I am very thankful to all the Matajis who are giving their very sweet association every week and giving your beautiful realizations, Mataji, and we are coming closer and closer to Prabhupada and our Guru Vargas, Matajis. Thank you so much. So with this note, I would pay my obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhobhyaeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Lilamrta ki jai, assembled devotees ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare
Pranam to all Vaishnava.
Thank you so much, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Shama Supriya Mataji ki jai. Thank you,
Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.